In a world of imagination and mystery, you alone write your destiny. Will you be good? Will you be evil? Neutral? Chaotic? Will you be lawful? When it comes to adventure, it's all on the table.
Welcome, everyone, to Lesbians of the Galaxy, our latest game. Currently, we are playing Session 5 for the Thirsty Sword Lesbian campaign that is part of the All on the Table lineup here on the Transverse. And today we will be having a lot of fun. Today we are exploring deeply into the conflicts that are located in the playbooks, and we will go from there. You'll see what happens. Joining me today, we have Juniper playing in as Sophie. We have Ren playing as Beacon, and we have Dana playing as Sonia. Unfortunately, Dana's having some camera issues, so we have just a wonderful picture of Dana up that we got in the background quickly. We don't know what's happening with the camera, but we'll have that figured out by next month. So, we are going to cut back to our planet, Folk Wagner, and we will find our team of heroes heading south to find the Deep Temple and keep the Order of the Disciplined from gaining access to its secrets.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, we are going to start where we left off. Everyone's waking up in the morning. And we are now in Sonia's room. Her and Penjaga are talking about what's going on.
So this is just immediately after the last game ended. So we've just gone to our room.
Pretty much, this is people are waking up, and Penjaga sits up with a startling yawn, with a startle in the middle of the night.
So suffice it to say, after last game, Sonia basically led Penjaga into her room, and as the door was shutting, she basically jumped into her arms, and then let's just say the camera faded to black. It's now sort of the middle of the night, and Penjaga, as you say, woke with a mighty yawn for whatever reason, and basically found Sonia fully dressed and packing her go bag. And Sonia just kind of doesn't really even turn around, and it's like, oh, hi, yeah, you should, yeah. Everything okay?
Harry told me you were one to leave, but I kind of hoped it was different.
Look, it's complicated. I didn't, I know you've been through a lot, and I didn't want to leave you until you had some time to get your feet under you, but things are getting, I kind of have to go.
Why?
It's a long story. It's probably best to just leave it with, just leave it with that I'm not a good person and I have to go.
So?
Huh?
So what if you're not a good person? Neither am I. I worked for the Imperium. I've done bad things. None of that matters.
All right. So Sonia actually comes over and sits down and puts her hand on Penjaga and says, "Look, you weren't there yesterday when we were fighting on that platform, but I did some things that kind of scared me. See, I've done a lot of things in my life, most of them described as criminal. But the one thing that they all had in common was you always need to take care of yourself first. You always need to make sure that you're safe and that you get out in one piece. And you, I can't describe what I felt when I realized I I went back to help people on a burning platform. That's that's not that's not being safe. That's not a good idea. I I should have gotten out of there and made sure I was safe with with what we needed to get. And I when I saw Sophie and I kind of lost it. And that's really bad. I was When you can't think clearly on a job, it's it's time to get going because you're starting to care about people, and that means you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to have known associates and people who can be used against you, and it's never a good idea. It's never safe for any of us. And so that's why I've got to go.
But
I
all
mean,
those same things, they mean you're real. They mean you're here. They mean they mean you're a whole person. You've put yourself first and you've taken care of yourself. You knew you could get out of the situation, but you went back to help someone.
that's the thing is I
And
didn't
that
know.
means that you knew you could get away even if it got worse. You went
I
back and took care of someone else anyway. You took care of yourself and someone else. That's great. That's huge. It's more than caring about a promotion or caring to move forward. The way you talk, it sounds like you belong in the Imperium, but you're here trying to stop them. You obviously don't.
it's I um look, it's no, it's
She puts her
I
arm around you and gives you a big hug
mhm.
and just holds you until you find the words.
I've had to fight to keep myself safe for so long, and I've had and it's always been safest for me to not be around other people. I can make people happy for a while. We can work together for a while. But there's a reason why I stopped working with crews for any length of time. There's a reason why I don't have, I wasn't in a gang, even though I was for a while, and that's where I learned that. It's, I'm not, I'm not a good person. I'm not a safe person, but I'm really good at keeping myself safe, and seeing that I can't even do that right now means I've I've got to go because I am not helping anymore. I'm putting us at risk.
No, you're not. You're not putting us at risk. Your friends, me, The Prince and the Rebels, we're not at risk because of you. We choose to accept you. We care for you, who you are. It's not a risk for us. It's a choice. And we're accepting that.
All that means is I've got you fooled better than I thought I did.
No, you don't have me fooled at all. Harry's been 100% honest about everything they know about you. And we all accepted that. I've known about it since right after you rescued me. Everything. And I'm still here. I'm still here.
I'm not sure you should be, though. I mean, you've seen... If you know all that you say you know about me, you know about all the girls I've left. And we all had a great time while I was there. And sometimes I come back and we have a great time again. And I treasure each and every one of them, and I treasure you, and you are what makes life worth living. I don't know how any of you put up with me.
Because you're brilliant, you're funny, and you have skills and knowledge and talent that we don't, that we need, that we appreciate in you. Your background is just who you are. It's not the world. It's not the end of the world if you feel to leave, but just know you don't have to. We accept you.
I wish I could believe that. I really do. But I don't know. I've also had a lot of people who needed me for my skills before, and that didn't always work out well for me. I've been, well, like I say, there's a reason why I work alone usually, or with people only for a short time.
Yeah, if the Imperium's records on you are anything to go by, you've been doing this for quite a while, and you're still going.
Yeah, and that's because I've been safe, and I've kept moving, and I've never stopped moving. And now I've stopped.
Sometimes you have to find a home. You might wander until you find it. It might take a long, long time. But sometimes you wander until you find it. Maybe this is it.
I'd like to believe that, but I've seen far too many homes burned to the ground and bombed and earth salted, and I don't know. I wish I could believe you.
You should. You should stay. Stay with us. This is so important. Everything you've gone through before has prepared you to accept the risk here now of staying.
Honestly, I know this isn't true. My heart's telling me this isn't true. But there's a tiny corner of my brain that says everything you're saying right now is exactly what someone would say to me to lead me into a trap. That you want me here so for some purpose I haven't figured out yet, or that you're using me for something, or they just, that someone, even if you don't know it, we're all being manipulated to keep all of us in one place so that they can spring a trap on us. I I want to believe what you're saying is true. I've had a lot of experience to say that it isn't.
Maybe there is a trap waiting, and that's the key. Your knowledge might be why you're here. Maybe it's not the order of the discipline manipulating things. Maybe it's this mysterious magisterium who has put you here to help save the others when the trap is sprung, because you know the trap's better than anyone.
So it's just another side using me instead of the one side using me instead of the other.
I don't know.
I mean,
All I know is I like you. You're fun. I know who you are, and I want you to stay. I don't care if you keep helping people. I don't care if you keep doing this. I believe in the cause, and I will. But you don't have to run away if you don't want to.
The only thing that is the thing that's most convincing me about all this, that you aren't being manipulated or you aren't some sort of secret Imperium spy or something like that, is that in this entire conversation, you haven't once brought up that giant pile of money that's just waiting for us to get at it.
What giant pile of money?
I'll tell you later.
I'm sorry. You have a giant pile of money?
Not that we can get to. That's the problem. I keep telling them we need to get the giant pile of money and then just let the two sides fight it out. But no, they're like, we need to save people and stop the bad guys. And like you can never figure out who the bad guys are, or there's only one set of bad guys. But anyway, no, there's a giant pile of money that I've been saying that we should get, but everyone else is not that interested in for some reason. Why do I care about these people? What is wrong with me that I care about these people? They don't even care about the giant pile of money.
Maybe that's why you care about them. They don't care about the giant pile of money. That's huge. You have people that don't care about a giant pile of money, and they still want to work with you.
You have to split the money, but they seem like they're actually genuinely good people. And it's been a long time since I've seen genuinely good people. And I don't think I'm supposed to be around genuinely good people.
I think you're wrong about that. I think that's why you're still here. Is you need to be around genuinely good people. You feel it in your heart. Your head might say it's time to run away because that's what's happened before. But I think your heart is saying, put aside the running away, put aside the fleeing, and just stay. It's worth it.
Look, I'll stick around a while longer. I can't guarantee I'll stick around forever.
That's okay too.
And just so you know, just so you're not doing this for any other reason, I'm not a one-woman girl. I think you know that by now.
Oh, I know.
So not a lot of women can deal with that well. So, and that's not going to stop. That's something I can't change.
Oh, that's okay. I've known lots of poly people. The Imperium's very strict on not doing things, and known way too many people who disobey that rule to think it's worth worrying about.
All right.
The only question I have for you is, are you
I'm sorry. Jen has just frozen up for a moment.
am I back?
You're back now. Sorry.
Okay.
The last thing I heard was, I have one question for you.
Are you willing to share them?
Yes. I embrace the power of and.
Awesome. Well, let's go back to bed then and see how tomorrow goes.
All right. Look, at the very least, if I do go, I promise I'll leave you a note.
No, take me with you. And it fades away. And now we cut to morning. Late in the evening, morning, in Sophie's room. Where Sir Maxwell is standing there. So, you're still struggling, huh?
Is it that obvious?
It wasn't when I when I saw you just the other, just a few days ago, as you passed through Roos. But here, something's up. I can see you're struggling a lot.
You were in Roos?
I was. I was coordinating with Harry the support that you might, in case you needed some help out in the mountains.
How long have you been on planet?
A month or so. Prince Benishimo was out traveling and caught up with several people from our home, and we've joined. He's got the support that we need, and he's got the ability to make a difference for us. So that's why I'm here. Tell me, what's troubling you?
I'm not in control.
What do you mean?
I just... Every time something happens, something causes me to bring the beast out, but I don't know that I always want that to happen.
But having the beast out is not wrong. It's part of yourself. And well, some of us hide it to blend in with other cultures. It's always been us.
But every time I let the beast out, someone gets hurt that I'm close to.
I see. That is your fear. Then perhaps it's time for someone to be hurt. Learning to use it might be more beneficial. And with that, he draws his sword and jumps at you.
Sophie's a little late to respond, kind of ducks out of the way, and grabs her own sword. What are you doing?
I am bringing you out of your shell. Embrace yourself. Your strength is needed. And the clashing keeps going, and I'm sure you're pretty sure everyone is listening on the other side of the wall because it sounds so loud. And it sounds like Sir Maxwell is yelling and arguing with you in such a way that he's trying to make you bring out the beast.
So does this mean that we're in basically effectively in combat right now?
Yeah, we could be in combat right now if you want.
I'm just curious as to how we want to rule how moves are going on in this, or if we just want to leave it role play or what.
You can go ahead and roll for any kind of move you want to make.
All right. I'm gonna try and figure him out. I have a minus to that right now, but all that's going through Sophie's head right now is why is why does he want to do this?
Okay.
So
Okay.
I don't know if it used the -2 there. It did not. So it's a 6.
It's a 6. And a 6 would be
A downbeat.
a downbeat. Mark your XP. Not no. This is important. So
Sophie's conditions are very integral to her development right now. So
yep. So you have no idea why he's doing this. You honestly don't. You're very confused. You're unsure of what's going on. And you are really, really wishing that he would just stop and not fight with you, not do this kind of thing. And in response, all he does is take another swing at you.
Sophie does her best to just block and not attack back.
Come, fight. Your strength is what you need. This hiding is not worth it. The pain you feel is not real.
My strength is all I've ever been.
That is not true. Your strength might be who you are, a part of you, a part of me. It's the beast. But without it, we can't be something else.
How would strength lead to being something else when all we've ever been taught is to use our strength and our beast?
You must think of your friend who works in the palace. Kalia. She's graceful and kind and does all these things that are kind of sneaky, but she does it as herself. She's fully embraced who she is.
I'm not anything like her. And with that, she finally lunges forward to make an attack of her own.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
All right, that's an 8.
Okay.
So I'm going to try and knock his feet out from under him to try and make him stumble.
Okay.
And then I'm going to try and make him angry at me.
Okay.
In order to attempt to make him angry, Sophie says, "And what about you? How much of yourself have you truly embraced?"
From when he lands on his back, he just chuckles, swipes your feet out from under you, and springs back up and says, "All of it. I love the fight, but I love the tactics. I know my strengths. They aren't just the beast. I move in other ways too."
The beast has caused so much grief for me the last few days.
And maybe it does. I still have grief. The beast took our planet. But it's still who I am. We lost everything because of this change we have, this strength inside of us. But how many of us were actually soldiers? Think about it. I suffer. So does everyone. But yet, I'm here doing what I do best. Embrace who you are and find out what you do best.
Sophie lunges forward again, kind of grappling with their swords. All we've ever known is the fight.
And yet you hang out with a hologram who's nothing but knowledge. You spend time with a thief whose greatest skills are running away and stealing. You know the fight is necessary, but you spend time with others who have skills to complement your own. Learning something new is scary, but accepting who you are is necessary to do that.
Okay, so I rolled a 9 on that fight. And I'm gonna provoke him.
Okay.
Show me these other skills then.
Very well. And he dances around you with that blade, taking your sword, taking your armor, everything that you use to protect yourself is gone, like stripped away. And you've never seen someone move that way while fighting. And when he stops, he slams his sword into the floor next to yours and begins playing music on them. You don't know how he's doing this, but he's treating them as drums along with his breastplate. And it's just this rhythmic dancing, this dream push and pull against you. And you can feel it in your soul. This is the music of your people, where you came from. This is the music of your planet. And as he's drumming out, he says, and this is what I feel every day, and what I long to do when the Imperium is gone. I will just call everyone back to a new home where we can play our music again. We can dance again, where we can fight again to find ourselves, where our weavers will produce cloth sturdier than steel, and our singers will make music that is only truly understood by those of us with tails and ears. We must find ourselves to find our home again, to make a new one. Accept it. And he just beats even louder at these drums and at these drums, and he keeps going and going. And he feels like he's pushing you and pulling you through your pain to something that you have deep inside. I need you to roll emotional support now.
Okay. Do that with that.
Okay. Mark your XP. And I'm going to give you a +1 forward on this.
Okay.
So your next roll will have a +1 to it.
Okay.
And how does the drumming affect you? What is it truly doing inside?
Sophie screams and falls to her knees, just overwhelmed with emotions. Anger and insecurities, and just wanting to embrace it, but something is still holding her back. She's pushing against the beast on the inside.
The door opens behind you and closes. And then one of the wardrobes opens and closes. And when you look up, you see Kalia there, playing a string instrument, kind of like think a space guitar.
Okay.
From your planet. It's your home. It's a string instrument from your home, and she's just plucking away at it in a new way to match the drums. But you recognize it as one of the old folk songs. And you know all the words. Roll emotional support again.
Okay.
Remember to mark your +1.
Yep.
Oof. Okay. Mark the XP. And what does this do?
Sophie starts crying. Not like crying because she's sad, but more crying because she's grieving.
Kalia starts to sing the words. It's a song of love and loss and going home to find everything changed. Sir Maxwell joins in.
Sophie looks down at the ground, closes her eyes, just listening to the words of the song.
Roll emotional support again.
Well, this is what happens when you're still feeling guilty about everything. You find it hard to emotionally support others as well as yourself.
Yep, you do. All of a sudden, you feel arms around you. You can't see anything through the tears. The music and singing hasn't stopped. But you're still, you can feel it. There's something holding you. And it whispers, "It's okay. You know you're alive. Because someone felt you mattered." You don't recognize the voice. It's not clicking who this is. As these arms embrace you, this feeling comes like somebody's holding you from behind. It feels very much like the kind of hug a mother would give a child.
Sophie leans into the hug, just still sobbing, unable to speak because she has so many emotions running through her right now.
A hand pets your hair and swipes down your head. It says, "It's okay, dearest. It's okay. Let it out. It's healthy to cry." There's shushing noises, a little bit of rocking. Very much like when your parent held you as a child to keep you safe after a bad dream or a bad day at school. That feeling of being held and rocked, being told it's okay. Shh, it's okay. Why don't you roll emotional support one more time with a +3? So now you have a choice of, do you open up to yourself about what's truly going on? Do you say it out loud to this group of people that's around you?
Yeah. I've just been so scared. Ever since I left home, of what the beast would mean for those around me. How it would affect my relationships, how it would affect my ability to exist on another world that wasn't familiar with our race. And I guess more I've been scared of myself, not wanting to let the beast fully come out, because if it did, then it might scare everyone I cared about away.
The music stops. And Sir Maxwell, you can feel the large hand of Sir Maxwell touching your head. It's okay. That's okay. Your fear is okay. You'll be fine. You will be good. Getting through this is so important. I want you to know that I am here for you. That I'm going to help make sure that no one runs away and no one's lost. We'll be okay together. Will you help me? Will I help you?
Sophie nods.
All right. Then we should be getting going. With that, we fade to black. We are coming right back in with some more emotional, intense situations. And we're going to go to Ren as we see what happens with Beacon. All right. It's the morning. You've gotten up. And the prince is here with you. Benishimo is in the room as well. And he looks at you and says, "So, tell me your story." As he begins rummaging in the wardrobe to seem to be, getting stuff ready for going.
Well, I've been having a lot of trouble with that lately. That idea of what I am, because I'm two things. The first thing that I am is a memory. Have you ever heard of the Pengradi monarchy? I ask him.
Yeah. Yeah, I have. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time since we've had interaction with anybody. We were a civilization on a farther away towards on the edge of the galaxy, a long way from here. We were a fledgling civilization. We only had about a dozen different solar systems in our empire, our monarchy, and it's just a few planets that could actually sustain life, and the rest were mostly mining. So we were a fledgling civilization. Our first contact with another species was the Sigil Imperium. And after a decade of war, it became clear that the Sigil Imperium had no use for the Pengrati. They weren't just looking to conquest us, they were looking to exterminate. And we weren't going to exist past them. And in the defiance of that, we created me. The first thing that I was is the memory. They created me. I was the housing unit for all of their knowledge, for all of their just everything, just the data bank, the black box, if you will. The record of their civilization, so that we wouldn't be completely forgotten after we'd been completely exterminated. And my job, like what I was programmed to do, was to go out and seek out any other civilization within or without the Sigil Imperium and show them this is how they really behave. This is what they are really about. And this is what they're willing to do for power. And my job was just to seek out any life and give them all the information I could about how to fight the Sigil Imperium, how their tactics are. I was just a drone. The other half of me, the second part, is an AI module. Do you know what that is?
Well, yeah, there's quite a few mechanoids here. You are way beyond what most inorganic sentients are.
Exactly. An AI module, you put it on your TV and your TV comes to life and its memories are shows that you watch. You put it on your vacuum cleaner and its memories are the right way to vacuum your house. When Cybele put the AI module on me, I became the memory of the entire civilization. Every child that had been ripped out of the arms of a mother during the war with the Sigil Imperium was now a memory for me, specifically. Every time a person knelt in the mud waiting for the gun to be pointed at them, that was a memory for me now. And my prime directive of being a help to the end of the Sigil Imperium has become an obsession for me, because it's the only way that I'll get to be my own person. Right now, I'm hatred was codified in me, and the hatred for the Sigil Imperium is my memories now. Like the entire my prime directive was to show the evil of the Sigil Imperium, and now it's hatred inside of me for them. And I want to be my own person. But I have to see that they pay first. I don't know a different outcome that I can find peace. And it makes it hard. Makes it impossible. Like what I see them and rage. The rage of an entire civilization is my memories and my emotions. It's my prime directive is hatred and rage, and I don't know how to deal with it sometimes.
Prince Benishimo turns around and he looks at you. He sets down the bag he was holding. He walks over and he gives you a hug. I only bear the knowledge of how my parents and my immediate family died at the hands of the Imperium. To bear the knowledge of how an entire civilization, billions of beings, died. I'm so sorry. And he just holds you.
I haven't even... There's a part of me, when I shut down for the night, sleep is what you'd call it, I say. And it's a reprieve. I can't think while I'm asleep. I don't dream, ever. Whatever that, I can't even visualize the concept of dreaming. And it's the only escape I get from what feel like memories. They're not memories. My physical being doesn't actually have these experiences. And it's a unique concept that I can't to imagine not being flooded with memories that my physical self haven't experienced. He's like, that I say that's something that I strive for and I want to have someday, is to move past these memories and emotions that aren't truly mine and start actually making the ones that I am. And so far I have been, like, becoming conscious, you know. Cybele, when she put the AI module inside of me, I remember resenting her for it. I didn't ask for it. I could have done this without being alive for it. And I've been mad at her for giving me, like, the life, because it means pain, and I don't know how to compartmentalize it. I don't understand why I have to have pain with it.
The prince steps back and looks at you and says, life is full of pain. Comings, goings, friends who die, family who dies. Somebody leaves you because they don't agree with you anymore. They can't do what you're doing. Life is sadness. Sadness and loss. They're here. It's what we have. But life is also joy and excitement and love. At which he sighs and whisper, and you hear him say, you hear him say Petunia as he sighs. And everything that comes from a meal shared and a heart that's open and accepting and knowing all that could come with all of that, it's still worth it. I wouldn't want to live without this joy. I can't live without the joy. And sure, pain and sadness can come with that. Partings, leavings, death, loss of all kinds. But the joy, it is so much bigger and better than the loss. I mean, think about your companions.
But I
How do
feel
they
like
make
I've
you
been such a
feel?
burden to them. I mean, I have the knowledge of an entire civilization at my disposal, but the only thing that they really saw fit to install inside of me isn't the niceties of culture or even like social norms, but rather just just a constant stream of negativity. And I have to learn everything else on my own while I have this giant, vast, like, bombardment of resentment, hatred, and honestly just, trauma.
That can't be right. There must be more to those memories you've caught. If you're the last testament of an entire civilization, who they are isn't just what happened at the end. Their language, their songs, their poetry. Can you remember these? Can you remember the love a mother felt holding her child for the first time, even if it's tinged with the sadness of loss? Can you remember that joy? Can you find that in those memories?
I think I can. It's so hard. There's so much pain. How do you ever see past all the pain?
That's a struggle. For me, it's the current joy. My love, spending time with Petunia.
Who's Petunia?
You know Princess Petunia.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Sorry.
Spending time with Petunia and sharing a meal with Harry and Sir Maxwell, and the fun I have with my friends, those who are with me and joining me. It's not always the sadness. I still cannot be crowned king despite my father passing, because the Imperium has taken over my planet.
I'm so sorry.
But that's okay. It is tough. It is hard. But I go on, just like you do. I fight. But I don't fight for what was. I don't fight for what pain. I don't fight because they caused me pain. I fight to bring more joy. I fight to bring back the happiness my people felt. I step away and say, I have to be sad now. I take time to be sad and angry. And I share that I have this feeling, this emotional state with others.
I want
But
to
I
make sure
find
that
that joy.
I want to make sure that what happened to my people doesn't happen again.
Fight with me and it won't. But let's find you the joy as we do it. Let's find you something to be happy about. Because the happiness makes the fighting worth it.
Okay. I will. I want to live past my purpose.
All right. Then let's make that happen. Benimicio reaches out his hand and clasp yours. And that soldier's arm to, arm-to-arm grip, pressing your wrists together as if joining in a blood siblinghood. And shakes. Then I will be here for you. Come, my friend. We will start. Search your databanks. Find me a poem of love from your people. I don't need it yet, but I will in about 3 days. I'm going to need it. So, soon.
Okay.
All right, come. He pats your back, and you both turn to face the door. And fade to black. Now, we're going to spin back, and we are going to go back to Sonia's room. Sonia, as you laid down to go back to sleep, everything faded to black.
Mhm.
And you and Pinjagas are standing next to each other in a completely different room.
Look, I know I said it was world shattering, but this isn't what I meant.
That,
Uh,
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
so, what does this room look like?
It's a plain gray room with a reflecting pool in the middle and a double door on the far end from you.
You have any idea what's going on here?
No, I'm very concerned.
All right. Stay here for just a second. And she is going to basically creep around to the door as quietly as she can, which is pretty quiet, and check the door.
At this moment, an image rises up out of the middle of the pool.
She spins around to confront it.
It is an image that you seem to recognize. Somebody from your past.
All right. I've got a lot of past.
Tig,
Um,
in this case.
I'm sorry, what? I didn't hear that last bit.
Tig?
Tig. Oh. Wait.
If I'm remembering your backstory with Tig, is correct. But either way.
I am a little bit lost at the moment. I'm trying to remember Tig.
That's okay. The image speaks to you and says, "You have grown. This is good. This is the purpose of the temple. You were here because you needed to be here. You do not need to be here anymore." The image turns and says the exact same thing to Penjaga, and then it motions to the door.
Right. Didn't we just have a big conversation about how I didn't need to leave? But no, that's not the point. All right. Thanks. Appreciate it. Bye. I grab Penjaga's hand and go through the doors.
Okay. And now we are back in Sophie's room. And you are standing there with Sir Maxwell. The room faded to black. And as it faded to black, this came up. You're now in a plain gray room with a reflecting pool.
What just happened?
The Sir Maxwell in front of you steps into the reflecting pool that's located in the middle of this plain gray room and says, "You have grown. This is good. You are here because you needed to be here. This is the purpose of the deep temple." And then disappears.
Sophie just kind of stands there befuddled for a moment.
And as the image fades away, it motions towards the door.
Okay. I guess I go through the door.
Okay. All right, and we're gonna sweep over to Beacon's room. And you're standing in a plain gray room, and the image of Prince Benissimo steps over into the pool and says, "You have grown. This is good. You were here because you needed to be here. This is the purpose of the deep temple." And then motions at the door as it fades away. What does Beacon do?
A beacon. Beacon needs a quick refresher on what just happened because Beacon was trying to fix an audio and visual situation. She was having a glitch in her brain.
When you faded to black, as we left that, it literally faded to black and then refreshed into a plain gray room with a reflecting pool in the middle. And the image of Prince Benissimo, who was with you, stepped into the reflecting pool and stated, "You have grown. This is good. You are here because you needed to be here. This is the purpose of the deep temple." Motions towards the door and fades away.
I glance around the room. Is there anything in here in this room other than the reflective pool?
Nope. It's a plain gray room, perfectly square, with a reflecting pool and a double door. That is.
And he stepped through the door?
Nope, he stepped into the pool and then faded away.
I'm a logical person. I step into the pool.
Absolutely, positively nothing happens.
Had to try it to
You
see if
got
I
your
faded
legs.
away. My legs are wet. Okay. I wonder aloud if I was actually speaking with him in the first place. And then I turn and try the door.
Okay. You step out into the room almost simultaneously with the rest of your companions. And you notice Sir Maxwell is across the room from you, straight ahead, and the prince is off to your right. You can see Penjaga and Sonia standing outside a door, not quite as, off to an angle. And you can kind of make out Sophie behind who you think is Sophie on the other side of a staircase.
Hmm. I don't see. Wait, where am I on this?
You are way down on the bottom right hand by a door.
Ah, there we go. I want to move. I want to move towards the center of the room, and I like in front of the stairs, and I want to make sure that, and my goal right now is to make sure that everyone else is I want to say hi to everybody and make sure they're doing okay.
All right. And as you start to move, Harry steps out of the door at the bottom of the bottom of this space. And Harry goes, "What the hell just happened?"
Oh, so it was everyone then. Okay, good. Let's just leave it at something happened that I'm sure none of us are ever going to talk to each other about ever again. And I think we
had
marked off another temple, which is good.
Sir Maxwell turns and walks up to Sophie and says, "Did I play for you?"
So Sophie just nods. Doesn't really say anything, just nods.
Sir Maxwell's a little funky in his expression. He's like, "Okay, there's something that must be done then. Kneel, please."
Okay.
Sir Maxwell draws his sword and he taps first your left shoulder, then your right shoulder, and then the top of your head, and says, "In the name of the knights before me, I welcome you to the order, Dame Sophie." And sheaths his sword.
Oh,
Okay. Wasn't expecting that.
this is intense.
And since you've moved over towards the center of the room here, Prince Benissimo catches up to you and says to Beacon, I've never admitted those things out loud to anyone before.
I've never had anyone to admit anything to ever.
Then I declare you friend and my advisor.
I accept, and I appreciate
give you
it.
the biggest old hug.
No, I hugged back. I returned the hug.
And Penjaga puts her hand on Sonia's shoulder and says, I meant everything I said. Take me with you. I'll go. But if you stay, I'll stay too.
I meant everything I said too. And quite frankly, looking around this room, I think that we're surprisingly healthier than any of the other pairings. But anyway, yes, no, absolutely. Yes, I meant what I said too. But for right now, I'd kind of like to get out of here, and I kind of think everyone else might too. How do you feel about going dancing right now?
She says, I would love that.
Hey, Sophie, sorry, Dame Sophie, by the way, we're going dancing. You and Beacon, you're in, whether you want to be or not.
Okay.
Okay.
Beacon is overjoyed at the idea. She needs some dancing in her life.
So Sophie just looks over at Sir Maxwell and just kind of mouths like, I don't know. Just go with it.
Sonia's literally saying, the Imperium can wait its butt for one night while we recover from this, whatever this was.
This was amazing.
Come on, I know a place.
All right. Beacon, you said you were going to check on everybody.
I did.
There is one person who has not been involved in a conversation yet. Are you going to check on them as well?
Yes.
Okay. What do you do with Harry?
What do I do?
Yeah. How do you go? You're checking on him. How do you check on him?
First of all, I am respectful of the fact that maybe I'm going to try and be respectful, and I'm going to very politely request and reach out and say, I want to check with you and see, and I just, I want to check with you and see how you're doing. Everyone else here has seemed to have had a very emotional experience. And I'm assuming that maybe the same has happened for you.
It did. It did. Ghosts of my past. And they're hard to deal with. I don't know if I can talk about it yet. But I'll let you know when I'm ready. Thank you.
That's understandable. And I wouldn't want to push you to talk about it before you're ready. I don't necessarily understand what a good time or a bad time would be to talk about things. My civilization was pretty forthwith on these departments. We talked about the bad things very openly. And we talked about hard things very openly. It doesn't make them easier in a sense of like they're still hard to live through, but it is hard. So it's something I'm learning, is how to understand that it's not always easy for other people to talk about the hard things as it is for me, and it is for my people. So when you're ready, I just want you to know that at the very least, I have been programmed to be an amazing listener.
Harry chuckles and says, "Thank you. Would you like a hug?"
I would.
Harry
I
gives
find
you
that it's
a
very
big
helpful.
hug.
And I hug back enthusiastically.
All right.
Hugs are amazing.
Harry steps back after that and says, "They really, really are. Let's go catch up with the others." and you all head up the stairs. And the stairs seem to go on forever. Forever. You have no idea how long you've been going up. And all of a sudden you're at the top. Just, it showed up, and yet you thought there were still more stairs. You open the door.
At least it was a good workout.
It was. It was a very good workout physically. You open the door, and you guys step out into the bright sun from this building, and you shut the door behind you. And you look around and realize you're back in Aegis. This is not where you went to bed at.
Well, that's something, isn't it?
It really
Yeah.
is.
You know what I'm going to do?
Did we just unlock fast travel?
Somebody found the Doctor Strange ring is what happened, the sling ring.
You know what I'm going to choose to do? I'm just going to choose to accept this and move on with our day and not let this bother me in any way. Who's with me?
Sophie, I mean, like, I love that, honestly. If there's anybody who could teach us how to deal with waking up in a strange place with no memory of getting there, Sophie might be the person to teach us this wisdom.
You mean Sonia?
What's that? Oh, sorry, Sonia. Sonia, no, I'm sorry, you're right. I'm getting my names mixed
Yeah.
up. Sonia will be the person to teach us how to wake up in strange places with no memory of getting there.
Exactly. Finally, my brilliance is being realized. I have so much to teach you all. And she just kind of puts her arms around both of you and leads you off into the city.
As you walk away, knowing how Sonia is, she just glances back just to make sure that she knows where the escape routes are.
Yep.
And there's no building there anymore.
And
Kind of
that's
almost
perfectly
wait
valid.
For a second, and then just audibly under her breath goes, "Nope, nope, not going to bother with it. Not going to upset myself."
Nope.
The seven of you go out dancing and drinking and having a party for quite a while. And when you get back to the, your usual haunt in this case, surprisingly, you all wind up back in Burns Bar.
Hey.
Hey!
Hey.
So it's where everybody knows your name.
You're all back in Burns Bar, chatting and talking and enjoying yourselves the next morning, having a wonderful breakfast. And now there's some extra things that need to be gone over, but where you're at is pretty good. You're all feeling pretty solid, ready to go and face whatever comes next.
Hey.
So this would be where we end the session. It's a little earlier than usual. However, it was an emotionally draining situation.
Yeah.
Couple
It's so
hours is
good.
about all you can throw into some of those.
Yep.
And now we have to have the competition to see who is the most emotional.
I actually typed in the chat that I'm glad I went first because,
I saw that.
Sonia's issues are nowhere compared, nothing compared to. I'm the repository for all of a species' emotional sadness. It's like
When I created Beacon, I literally, like, my inspiration for Beacon was half vision from like Avengers
Uh-huh.
and half Vigil from Mass Effect.
Yes.
If you combine Vision with Vigil, that's Beacon.
Okay.
Oh, and very important question: did we get Sophie to dance?
Oh yes,
Oh yeah.
Sophie danced.
Yeah.
Very, very,
Not
very
well,
badly.
sure she danced.
Actually, if Sonia sees that Sophie is dancing, kind of half-heartedly at that, she will like come in and take the lead and dance
As
with
well
her.
as you can when you're 3 feet shorter, but
Well, allow me to be clear. Sonia is a very good dancer. I just took an ability that when she walked in the room, everyone's eyes turned to her so that she could start dancing. So yeah, no, she made sure you had a good time, and by the end of it, you're probably a better dancer than when you started.
maybe.
Beacon has literally every dance of an entire species ready to go at any given moment.
Right? Very
And-
good.
And,
I
and,
think
and
A
Prince
species that had its own TikTok, so like there's a lot of variety.
and Prince Benishimo says, and that's joy. Dancing with you, trying to imitate you.
And by the way, there were a lot of digs at the prince that night from Sonia about how he was clearly trading down. And this so-called prince that joined us, was he even invited?
I mean, he offered me a lot of emotional support, so he's always invited as far as I'm concerned.
All right.
So, how do you all feel the next morning? Are you hungover? Are you hungover but happy? Are you still drunk? Or are you perfectly fine?
I am. I'll let somebody else start.
I'll start. Sonia is basically buzzing with energy. Like, it took a lot for her to actually go to bed. And she's like probably only sleeps a few hours, gets up before everyone, which has never happened before, and is setting out food for breakfast, or ordering breakfast for folks. She is kind of jazzed at this point, and sort of half bursting with happy, joyous energy, and half clearly trying to distract herself from something.
Okay.
Beacon is slightly hungover, but very happy. Like, talking about Beacon has just discovered the benefits of talking about emotional baggage, and this has had a profound effect on her. And she has also discovered, almost by accident, that although she cannot drink alcohol, magnets have a very fun, disorienting effect on her. And she got a little too magnetized last night, but she's feeling happy about it.
So, in other words, new kink unlocked. Gotcha.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
Everybody got a good visual of that. Everybody got a good visual of Beacon accidentally finding out that magnets make things fun. So everybody knows that.
Or Sophie feeling?
Sophie is extremely hungover. She has not drank like that since she left her planet.
Okay.
So she's just very, very, very out of it. just like one of those like too bright. Don't talk to me.
Okay. Well, you're all sitting around eating breakfast, And we're ending the session here. And based on the rules, I'm going to say everybody gets 1 XP because Sophie leapt into this emotionally dangerous situation with daring and panache.
Good job, Sophie.
Yay,
Yeah.
Woo!
I'm going to say that everybody gets an XP because check-ins did happen with when we were off screen.
Uh-huh.
So that's 2 XP for everyone. So, did anybody strike a blow against oppression or de-escalate a violent situation?
I don't feel like I qualify for that this time.
I'd have to check the Karma Sutra to make sure that nothing's called that, but probably not.
I don't know that my situation quite counts as that because I think it was more the NPC that de-escalated the situation and not Sophie herself.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did anyone confess their love?
Oh yes, I think it's pretty obvious that Sonia did.
Ooh, yes.
But I mean, actually, I'm going to say, while she didn't do it in words, although she has confessed her love to Penjaga before, she actually meant it more, almost,
Yeah?
So, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.